Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about the release date, the release order, and the remaining content we have in the Doomsday Heist and the Festive Surprise 2017. So Rockstar released a new vehicle today, and I thought this would be a good time to sort of recap what we have left in terms of vehicles and new content, because for the most part, the Festive Surprise is over. So like the biggest wrench in this entire equation has already gone by, and there isn't any other holiday update that's tied to the DLC content that we have left, with the exception of maybe something Rockstar doing during Valentine's Day. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's start with the vehicles we have remaining and the potential times at which they could come out. So there's two websites that are left. We'll start with the easiest one, Southern San Andreas Super Autos. There's one vehicle on here, the Canis Camacho. It's a four-seater off-roading Jeep for $345,000. That is the only remaining vehicle on this website. Now, once the Camacho comes out, it's pretty easy to determine what vehicle is going to come next, because after that, all the vehicles are on the Legendary Motorsports site, and they're just going to go in order one after the other. Speaking of that site, it starts with the Lampadati Viserys, which is a two-seater sports classic. It can also be, has the same machine guns that can be applied to the Silvestra, can go on the Viserys. So it's $875,000. After that, you have the two-seater sports classic Grotti GT500 for $785,000. The sports car Ubermacht Revolter, which I think is in the wrong category, for $1.6 million. It can also get the machine guns on there. You have the sports car Pfister Neon, a four-seater as well. It's also all electric, and that's $1.5 million. The Karen 190Z, which is a two-door sports classic car, $900,000. The Vapid Hustler, which is a two-door muscle car, for $625,000. And the Pfister Comet SR, a sports car, two-seater, for $1,145,000. So if you've been counting, we have 8 vehicles left. We have one vehicle on the Southern San Andreas Super Auto site, the Canis Camacho, and then the 7 remaining vehicles on the Legendary Motorsports. So that right there is roughly 8 weeks of content, given what Rockstar has done, I would say, in the past week or so. So we were waiting to kind of figure out what Rockstar was going to do on New Year's and New Year's Eve and day, and it turns out they only released one vehicle, and it happened at a normal time today on Tuesday, January 2nd. So it's safe to assume that Rockstar is going to be back on their normal cycle of releasing one vehicle per Tuesday. And since we have 8 Tuesdays left, this is how long it's going to take us, assuming Rockstar doesn't skip a week, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I would assume they wouldn't. So that means we're going to have a vehicle on January 9th, January 16th, January 23rd, January 30th, February 6th, February 13th, February 20th, and February 27th. And if you were counting, that right there is the next 8 Tuesdays of 2018. So if Rockstar does not skip a week, that means they're going to be completely done with the drip feeding for the Doomsday Heist update before the end of February, which is really crazy. Now, I've stated that there is a chance that Rockstar could skip a week. You never know. They might do something with Red Dead Redemption 2 where they want to have a week promoting it. Maybe they release a new trailer. Although we've seen in the past, Rockstar release a new car and then in the same week release Red Dead Redemption 2 information. So it almost seems as if they're not scared to like put them next to each other. So that's why I'm assuming just straight up for the next 8 Tuesdays, we are just going to get one vehicle, one vehicle, one vehicle, and it's just going to be one after the other. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a lot easier to figure out the release order once the Canis Camacho comes out, because then it's just boom, 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 all the vehicles on the Legendary Motorsports site. Now, one thing that does kind of line up nicely is the Vapid Hustler. That's kind of one of the later vehicles. I think Rockstar is going to release that as a part of the Valentine's Day special or some sort of Valentine's Day event week. I don't think we're going to be getting a dedicated event week for Valentine's Day this year, because in order to get to Valentine's Day, which is on Wednesday the 14th, Rockstar would essentially have to like release 2 vehicles for like a couple weeks. And I don't think they're going to do that. I think that's just way too random. And from what we've seen so far, they've for the most part been doing one vehicle per week, with the exception of like the 3 that they just snuck in there during the Festive Surprise. So that's my prediction as far as vehicles go. 8 weeks, 8 remaining vehicles. I think we're just going to get them back to back to back. As far as the release order goes, I'm not sure what Rockstar is going to do. Since there's only one vehicle left on the Southern San Andreas Super Auto site, the Canis Camacho, You would think Rockstar would want to save that one, or they would either want to get it out of the way. I thought they were going to release it during the snow period because, I mean, this vehicle is like built for the snow. It's a perfect off-roader. So I'm not exactly too sure why they didn't decide to release it. And then there's sort of the theory they might save it for last, like it might be the final vehicle release. So I'm really not too sure. There's a lot of vehicles left, and all I know is I'm pretty excited about a handful of them. There's only like one or two that I'm, not super thrilled for, but those are the vehicles. And then we have 2 remaining adversary modes. We have air quota and hardest target. Now, typically, you'd be able to kind of assume when the adversary mode was going to release based off of what vehicle was coming out. For example, Bombushka Run, you knew that was coming out with the Bombushka. However, with air quota, there isn't any air vehicles that are being released, so it's kind of hard to predict when that's going to come out. And then hardest target, I'm not exactly sure what sort of vehicle screams hardest target out of the remaining 8. So even in that regard, I'm not sure. So that's the bottom line. We don't really have any holiday stuff remaining. We have 8 vehicles. We have 4 adversary modes. So you would assume if Rockstar want to balance them out and split them evenly, we're going to be getting 1 adversary mode in the month of January and then 1 adversary mode in the month of February, and that will be it. Now, as far as what Rockstar plans to do after all this content is released, I'm not exactly too sure there. If they do stay on that schedule of 1 vehicle per week, they would have the entire month of March to release a new update, or they could do April or May or June. Although I'm pretty sure in March of 2016, they released Cunning Stunt's Special Vehicle Circuit. So that might be a good time for them to release maybe a filler update, potentially before the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns, but what we do know is the remaining vehicles, the remaining content. There isn't any more holiday stuff left. I don't even know if there are like any major holidays in February or January. I know probably the biggest one is Valentine's Day, and it doesn't look like Rockstar is really planning on celebrating that. So I'm not exactly too sure what they're ultimately going to be doing. But anyways, that right there is all the information I've got for you guys in this video today. A quick recap of what content we've got left, when it's going to be coming out, its release order, and a whole lot more. Let me know in the comments section down below, which vehicle are you most looking forward to in the comments section down below. I think the one I'm personally looking forward to the most is probably the Karen 190Z, the Pfister Comet SR, and definitely the Canis Camacho. So those are my top 3. Let me know what yours are in the comments section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.